$25. It's going to be $25.
All right, okay, quit hitting the table.
All right, sorry.
Now I'm going to have to do like a fucking intro to the podcast.
Sorry.
Because you're screaming, and I didn't even get to record the fucking thing.
But no, I got to get that.
Now I got to do like a weird intro. Hey, I'm not going to do an intro because I don't like doing the fucking... And I had to turn the fans off because it's 1,000,000 degrees in here.
That's good.
It is 1,000,000 degrees in here, and I had to turn the fans off because of the fucking noise it makes on the podcast.
They say people thrive in adversity, so it's like we have this really extreme condition. So maybe this podcast will reflect us.
I feel like the eclipse maybe fucked your brain up.
Someone said my weed dealer said it was a healing eclipse.
A healing eclipse?
My friend's part weed.
Here, talking to the mic. You said.
Okay, are we testing?
No, we're recording.
We're live?
Yeah, we're live. I can do an intro later, or I can just do the intro now, and we can get back into what you were just about to say. And I'm just going to do the intro now because I don't like... I have to do the intros... anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can cut it up.
Maybe you can edit this one. But, so welcome to Tales from the Crypto, episode 3, August 30th. What? Yeah, you can have some of the water.
Nice.
What? You can ask me.
Well, it's,
You don't want to fuck up the intro?
Yeah, it's a good intro so far.
So far. August 30th, 2017.
Nice.
We had a week off because Strider went to Idaho to look at the podcast. But then now you're...
Look at the eclipse.
Oh, yeah, look at the podcast.
Listen to a podcast.
I
was listening to the podcast while I was looking at the eclipse.
And you came back, and your hair's crazy, and you got like a beard, and you're just like screaming about cryptocurrency.
I know, it's weird. It's crazy up there. It's beautiful. That's all I'm going to say about it, though.
I feel like... have you ever heard of Ruby Ridge?
Ruby Ridge?
Yeah.
No.
Randy Weaver.
I gotta listen
Idaho
to
white supremacists, neo-Nazis government.
I haven't heard of that. No, wasn't any of that up there, actually. It was super liberal. It was really crazy. There was all sorts of people up there.
I feel like you're
one
big score on Bitcoin away from ending up like that guy where the fucking FTA, like fucking... or ATF is raiding your house and fucking AKs and dogs.
Yeah, that's where we need a smaller government. They're not going to raid your house for Bitcoin.
Well, they raided this guy's house for a couple sawed-off shotguns.
You could keep $1 million worth of Bitcoin on a Ledger Nano or a Trezor wallet, put it in a safe deposit box, go to a discreet location out in the middle of nowhere, bury it on the ground, and have some crazy buried treasure that you only know about. It's
so what one were you saying was going to go to $25 or something?
Oh, I just have high hopes for OMG. Let me say go.
I don't want that because I'm out of that.
Well, you should don't judge a coin by you're getting emotional.
Well,
I don't like that coin because I got out too early.
No, that's not why I don't like Mayim Bialik. That's why I never like Blossom.
Well, you can't hate Ethereum. it's just
no, I do want to talk about that because Bitcoin, and I feel like the classics are back this week. Bitcoin,
yeah, it was
Ethereum,
all the classic,
all the Coinbase.
Ripple made a crazy jump. Monero, I think it started with maybe Monero, went to Ripple. Didn't see anything with Zcash. Didn't see too much of a jump.
Yeah, that's a classic. Did you listen to that podcast about Zcash?
I started it. It was interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
I fell asleep, but it was good. Anyway, I'm sure people are falling asleep in this podcast, but we're all learning.
Whatever it gets you, whatever it does for you.
Yeah, we're trying to expand people's knowledge. I guess we can go. Should we go over anything? Bitcoin Cash.
What the fuck? I just think. You were just screaming about being a millionaire like 2 minutes before I turned the podcast on, and then I just feel like you're going to end up in a cabin.
Well, we're getting into an industry. We're getting into a market. It's a world market. It's like you're looking at this through the lens of America, but there's people in South America, India, China. It's a world currency that people aren't necessarily talking about right now because they're worried about getting hacked or they're worried about the government seizing their income or whatever. There could be hundreds of people that just don't talk about it. We're talking about it on a podcast and we're taking... we're doing that for...
Well, as soon as I posted the podcast on Reddit,
the
first 2 comments were like people saying like, hey, can you give us an alternate besides iTunes US because we can't listen to it here. We're in Europe.
Because all these big industries, they don't want this to happen. iTunes doesn't want this to happen because if you look this last week, Lisk, do you know about that cryptocurrency?
No, tell me about it.
I bought that a few months ago, like right when I first started for like $2 or $3.
Mm-hmm.
Went up to 4 or 5, went down, sort of rested for 3 or 4. Now this past week it's been up at like 7, 750, that kind of range as far as fiat dollar conversion, but it's an app program, kind of like Google Play or platform like iTunes, basically, where it's a decentralized app program that uses blockchain technology to so that people can, disseminate their podcasts and sell their YouTube videos to individuals, by putting their video on this blockchain,
right,
and having people access their information and their podcasts and their videos and commentaries through this blockchain that is decentralized without one, person running it, and like YouTube or Google Play or iTunes, where they take a cut of every transaction.
Sure.
People, well, not necessarily the podcast. How do people make money with podcasts? What is this? Just ads? Is that the only way?
If we were to get a sponsorship, or we sold advertising, I'm looking into that. What I want to know is, how do you get your podcast featured on iTunes? Because there's like a featured section, and then there's like a couple kind of like podcast promotional networks. It seems like there's one called like Feral Audio, and they sort of distribute podcasts or whatever.
But it's good. I'm glad we're doing this, getting the word out to Americans. Maybe they think we're crazy. Maybe they think we're nuts, or some combination. But it's like, people have questions they need to know.
Sure, and I want to welcome any people listening that heard about it on Reddit, and to chime in either through Reddit, that we could then maybe answer the questions. I mean, the problem with this stuff is it moves so quickly, that even a podcast, which is a very quick way of disseminating information, is almost too slow.
Well, you could follow us. You could follow me on Twitter. I'm always posting
at Real Crypto Tales on Twitter, and
I'm Shilverstein, Shilverstein.
Yeah, so you can, of course, people can follow us there.
I might change my Twitter names at some point, but at this point, I'm Shilverstein. I don't know.
I'm like sweating like crazy already.
It's a fun, crazy world. It's the Wild West. People are making money. The
first thing I've written on my list here for you is crazy week.
It's a crazy week.
Yeah.
The alts went crazy. Bitcoin went crazy. The alts dumped. Bitcoin went to... It's floating around, what, 44, 5...
Yeah, right now...
4,500, somewhere around there.
It's at 46 right now.
46. And my projection, I think I tweeted about it, was that if it stays around 45, 46... for a few days, we're going to see some activity. I think it's going to jump up to 5, 50, possibly even 6 for a second.
Right. I had questions from a couple of people this week where they were like, I had set them up with basically explained how to purchase Bitcoin via Coinbase
or Gemini,
whatever it is.
I think Kraken is an LA-based exchange. You could pay for Bitcoin with credit cards.
Anyways, I just showed them how to do that.
Yeah,
and then they came back at me with, now how do I go and buy
Ethereum or Litecoin,
altcoins or whatever? Well, you can buy Ethereum or Litecoin on Coinbase, but
that's true.
To go to like an exchange like Bittrex and buy Neo per se,
or ADX, or any of them.
But it was just funny because I just didn't really have time to explain it, and I was like, well, just fucking hold your Bitcoin for a minute, like get used to it or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, yeah, I mean, I already made money. So I'm just like, yeah, so you already fucking made money. Like,
just chill on it, get a wallet, use your wallet, send your grandma some Bitcoin, just get into it. Just see what it's all about and how safe it is. People, one of their biggest concerns with Bitcoin is they come to me and they'll say it's hacked. Oh, it's hackable. Someone could hack into your Bitcoin and take your Bitcoin at any given time. And it's not the case.
Right.
You can get hacked if you go onto an unsecure website. There was a website a couple weeks ago where it was Bittrex.com, but the I of Bittrex was a lowercase L. Don't ever go to that site, anyone. I think Google took it down, but Google's actually promoting a phishing site for one of these cryptocurrency things.
Really?
It was a sponsored ad. I should take a picture of it, but it's you got to be careful a little bit. Make sure you're only going to the exchange sites, and if you take your Bitcoin and put it in your wallet, it's not going to get hacked. It's completely safe if you have it in a Ledger S wallet or you make a paper wallet. So what can get hacked are the exchanges, which is very rare, very uncommon. That's when people say, oh, I was hacked. They either went to a phishing site, someone controlled their passwords, got all their access to their passwords, or the exchange was hacked, which happened in China with Ethereum recently. But ultimately, Bitcoin cannot be hacked at this point in time. I was going to talk a little bit about quantum resistance, protocol, which Neo has. So maybe you could lead into that with some Neo talk.
I guess what I was going to ask you first, kind of regarding Neo, are these Chinese sort of regulations that came up.
There was a huge mini dump on Neo. Yeah, people kind of bought up the dump. It's kind of floating around where it should be. 30.
It was under $30 US dollars for a second.
I bought some at 30, I think.
Yeah, so and it went back. Right. It went back to like where it should be, right now, anyways.
Yeah. So the Chinese government came out and they said basically what the SEC said about ICO's initial coin offerings.
Yeah.
And basically they said they were illegitimate ways to make money. They were questionable. Whatever. They didn't like them, so they had regulations, which is nice that that Neo went along with the regulations. You can't necessarily buy this new ICO that Neo was going to be a Neo-based ICO called Red Pulse coin.
Right.
If you live in the U.S. right now, you're not able to purchase that, take part of that ICO.
Oh, I thought it was for only Chinese customers were not allowed to take part in it.
No, it's American. I think.
Are you sure?
I'm sure it's American. I'm sure Americans can't take part. I read a whole post. I've got it saved.
I thought we were gonna get in on it.
No, I think it's like Japan. I think China. There's exchanges in China that are letting it happen. But for those that don't know what an ICO is, it's basically before a coin hits the market, before a Golem or an Ethereum or a Ripple coin, before it hits the market, the website or the company will raise money on their website to fund the coin and to basically it's having like a stock option in the coin before it goes public. So you send the idea is that you send them Bitcoin, you send them Ethereum, and they send you a certain amount of these tokens, these coins, which eventually when they hit the market, you'll have, it's like, one. I think the Red Pulse situation was one Neo, you get 1,000 Red Pulse coins.
Okay. So even on September 10th, Americans are not allowed to be part of this.
That's what I understand. I mean, everyone that listens to this podcast should be at least moderately interested in doing some research into any of this stuff. So
you have to do your own research always.
Yeah, it's
the whole thing about this shit with like Twitter and with Reddit, and it's not Twitter or Reddit's fault at all. It's just that people can easily spread misinformation,
and they do it to disrupt the market. Maybe they bought into this coin, they sold some like you did with OMG or ADX or something, and it went up in price $5 or $10.
Right.
So people will shill a negative shill. They'll shill a coin and say it's going to be regulated. They'll lie about it to try and bring the price down, so that they can get back in or just to feel better about themselves. I don't know why they do it, but. Yeah, you got to be careful out there on Twitter. Just do all your own research. Read white papers. I was hanging out with my girlfriend's grandpa, and he was reading the Monaco white paper. It's fun. It's like 26 pages, and you get an good introduction to some technology that could potentially be world changing. This Bitcoin thing started as a currency asset, kind of money storage. A currency thing, and now there's on the exchanges you can kind of buy into with these exchanges you can buy into what I'm saying, like stocks. It's like almost like a stock market where it's an exchange of ideas, like and it's interesting.
So that's all you have on the Chinese regulations there?
The Chinese regulations, it looks like it's going to affect America most likely, and I've read on some Reddit posts that if you're in America and you want to take part in the Red Pulse initial coin offering, you have a friend that lives in Europe or who lives in South America or so who lives somewhere outside of the U.S. and you feel comfortable sending them a couple Neo, and they can buy you some Red Pulse coin. It's apparently going to be a big coin. It has to do with market prediction through a site. From my understanding, you do ever do your own research if you're interested in this Red Pulse coin, but it's a site similar to Reddit or Steemit where people submit content. It's a user-submitted content website that navigates the finance industry of China. And so if you're familiar with Steemit, it's a website similar to Reddit where you can give people cash for their posts. If you read an interesting comment, or you wrote an interesting comment, or you wrote an interesting article, people can, instead of upvoting you for imaginary karma points as Reddit uses, you can give people little bits of of money here and there to support their ideas and their philosophies or their videos that they post, whatever.
And I'm assuming it's red pulse because red is considered good luck in China.
It is good luck.
Yeah.
It's weird that green is considered good luck in, I guess, Ireland and Europe.
Yeah, well, that's why in like Chinese charts and graphs and things like that, like if it's going up, it's in red.
Huh.
Versus like here where it's like if it's going down, it's red.
Yeah.
Yeah, because red's good. I mean, that's why
red's
the Chinese
like
flag
light,
is red, I
like
guess.
Green light. Yeah, it's interesting.
And then they have the Ghost Month coming up as well. Do you know what Ghost Month is?
No, what is Ghost Month?
I don't know. It's a Chinese thing that people are concerned about. I read about it earlier. It has something to do with like maybe a good luck or a bad luck thing to be like investing money or doing anything during Ghost Month. So it might be a weird time the next month for Chinese.
Ghost Month. It could also be FUD. Have you heard this term FUD?
Yeah, what does FUD mean?
FUD, it's an acronym. It's an abbreviation. It stands for fear of unknown doubt.
Okay.
Fear of uncertainty, fear of unknown, fear of doubt, that kind of thing. Someone on Reddit proposed there's a new one that people start using, which is MUD, MUD, Moon Urgency Delusion.
Okay.
So some people are buying into these coins, expecting it go to the moon the next day, which is just a little delusional. They get frustrated. They say, forget Bitcoin. They sell all their coins. In 2 months, 3 months, that coin is worth 10 times what it was worth when they sold it.
Give me advice here. My problem is, and then maybe someone else is having that problem. My problem currently right now is that I have all my money tied up in Neo. Mm-hmm. And I have my Neo stored on my Neon wallet. Mm-hmm. And it's generating gas, which is a good thing. But the other coins that I have, and I have small amounts of them, they did okay initially, but now they've kind of settled back down or have crashed a little bit. And right now, I can't really sell them at a loss for Bitcoin.
Right.
And I don't really have much fiat to invest because most of the fiat that I've invested into Neo. So what should I do in general? What would you do?
What I would do, which I would like to do that I don't usually do, but it's good to do, I think, is go to your Bittrex wallet at some point and have it organize the wallet by percentage gained that day. If you open the window of your Bittrex wallet wide enough, you see a column on the far right that says percentage change.
Yeah. So you can actually organize it that way?
Yeah, you click on that and it'll organize it by how much, the losers of the day and the winners of the day, basically. Okay. So if you have a coin where you put some money in it looks like it grew 25, 30%, take a little bit out of it. Take just a little bit here and there. And every day that'll add up, that'll go into Bitcoin. Bitcoin will go up and you'll have some to invest, or every day you could find a little bit here, a little bit there.
No, that makes sense.
And then, but don't over diversify. It's like
right. I mean, and that's the problem. Is there's a problem of holding on to things too long sometimes. Unless you're into Neo for like a long-term hold. Mm-hmm. Maybe when you see some of the other ones go up a little bit, maybe you should take a little bit out and
shave a little off the
Bitcoin.
top. Neo's it's a wild card. It's fluctuating. I could see it going to 60, 70 within a couple of months at some point. Right. Maybe dropping down to 50, maybe going to 70. Who knows? It's all speculation, but it's here to stay. It's a really interesting, really powerful cryptocurrency. It's lightning fast. It's just basically it's learned from all the mistakes of Bitcoin, from all the mistakes of Ethereum. All these programmers, they've learned from all the good parts of Litecoin and the bad parts of Litecoin, and they've made this currency it's quantum resistant, which I want to talk about in the future in like 2015, 2020, 2030, 2040. There's going to be computers called quantum computers, and they're going to be incredibly powerful, and scientists, mathematicians that are into Bitcoin have calculated that Bitcoin could possibly be hacked with quantum computing if computers had enough processing power in years. If they are able to predict they're able to hack. They might be able to hack Bitcoin if we have quantum computers. So it's a big fear in the crypto community, like world, Bitcoin's not quantum computing effective resistant.
Whereas Neo is.
Neo's it's really hard to hack Neo. Apparently, there's no instances of there ever being any kind of Neo hack.
Right.
It's not the user's fault by signing onto a weird exchange or
downloading
a weird wallet or
misappropriate. No, it's not
sending
misappropriation, but misplacement of funds.
Yeah. Mistakes can be made, but learn from them. I think I sent an extra ant share to myself at one point where there's a thing where you can't send portions of ant shares.
This is a big point of discussion on Reddit and online in general, and it's kind of like it's funny. It happened to me. I think it's happened to everybody when they first kind of start doing this, because it's not an obvious thing, but every time I see someone ask the question now, it's like I'm always annoyed, because I'm just like, oh, come on, man! Don't you know they're not divisible? But I think at some point everyone made that mistake.
Yeah.
And this is what I like about Bittrex is, in Bittrex's what's the word? Not favor, but in Bittrex's defense, or whatever you want to say about
in support of Bittrex.
In support of Bittrex, or Bittrex in support of us, they made it impossible for people to make that mistake now.
Oh no, yeah.
So you can't.
They send you a warning or something.
They just won't make the transaction happen, and it'll say it's not divisible.
And they've lowered their fees significantly.
And the people that made that mistake and lost Neo by doing it earlier before they changed that rule, a lot of them have been refunded.
Yeah,
that Neo that they lost.
I think Bittrex is a great exchange.
I think it is too. The only thing we're missing with them is the ability to generate gas while holding Neo on their exchange. Because right now they apparently are getting any gas that's earned.
That's not going to happen.
You don't think so?
Not anytime. Not in 2017.
Well, they've mentioned that they'd like to try to sort it out.
If you want to accumulate gas in your wallet, just make a Neo wallet.
Sure.
Send it over.
I'm just saying, if you haven't, it's one thing to think about.
It would be nice if all of a sudden like this Bitcoin Cash thing, they just gave everyone all the gas that would have been accumulating with them, sitting on the ant shares or sitting on the Neo, but it's not likely. I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. I don't blame Bittrex for not crediting people with.
No, I don't either. I'm just pointing out one fact of the situation with Bittrex when it comes to Neo. And the biggest thing that everybody was concerned about was that, I took out a divisible number and I lost, say, however much, so whatever.
And but if you just put your money in your wallet when you were thinking that and accumulated some gas, you have everything you'd ever complain about.
So long story short, Neo right now is down, but not out.
It's not. It's a great time to accumulate it. A great time to buy some, to sell a little here and there. It's gonna fluctuate in price for the next little while, around $30 and $40, and it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, but there's lots of other cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's what I'm going to next here.
Yeah.
So we saw a big breakout on MCO. Monaco.
I think I told you to buy it when it was 10 or 11.
I can't remember.
Or I don't even think I told you to buy it. I think I looked through my text. I was like, maybe, but it was around 10 or 11.
Yeah.
So, I got in at around $8.59. Too late. I was watching it at $3.
Well, not really. I mean, it's not doing. I mean,
it's really not doing that.
It's not doing that bad. It just
for those that don't know what Monaco is.
Yeah, what
did
is
you
that?
Look into what it is at all?
No, I know what it is, but you tell me what it is.
There's the new wave of cryptocurrency. It seems to be payment platform based. So it's not necessarily a currency. It's a way to spend your Bitcoin. It's a way to spend your Ethereum. It's a way to spend your Ripple. And it's these credit cards that are teaming up with the major credit card companies, MasterCard, Visa. There's one called 10x Pay. It's a credit card. Here's
where I'm getting at now.
Yeah, and there's one in Monaco. And
we saw Monaco breakout. We saw 10x Pay breakout as well.
And we saw Mise Go breakout, which is a similar
We're going to get to that one, though,
yeah.
too, because that's different because it's an Ethereum project.
I think 10x Pay runs on a lot of these run on the Ethereum. You can't hate on Ethereum.
I'm not.
You got to get over that. I hated Ethereum too. I guess we could talk about that. Why do you hate Ethereum?
I don't.
I'll tell you why I did, because it's backed by some big corporations. It's backed by corporate interests. I think Chase Bank has some vested interest in it, and I'm just a little wary of banker-backed cryptocurrencies. But that's just me. But you're welcome to invest however you want to invest.
I'm just not a big fan of second place. That's my whole thing.
Ethereum, well, it's also it's second place, but it's a little kid. It's like this. It's second place, but it's this little genius.
I don't like second place
fighter kid.
I like the come from behind horse. I like the underdog.
Oh,
I don't like the second place.
Gambling analogy.
This is like Greg Norman. Ethereum is the Greg Norman of cryptocurrencies.
It's what it is doing is it's allowing lots of other cryptocurrencies to grow with the use of smart contracts. Smart contracts are without Ethereum.
San Antonio Spurs.
Without Ethereum, you wouldn't have these smart contract things where you can bet on the San Antonio Spurs. Where if we bought into Ethereum where it was $8 or $10, you would be loving Ethereum right now, Jed, because you'd have all these smart contracts. You could bet on sports. You should buy some Ethereum and bet on sports. It's so easy. It's just a click away. It's
Maybe I will.
That's what the smart contracts do. You have a deal with someone. And you say if the Buckskin Buccaneers beat the
Buckskin Buccaneers,
the Toronto Bluebeard Jaybirds, then you get 3 Ethereum, and if the other team wins, then I'll give you. That's how a smart contract works. Sure. It's really interesting. There's no fees involved. There's no intermediary third party. It's just individuals to individuals. It's creating a really interesting economy.
But can you put that as a bet, or do you have to actually just physically Are you? You have to hold the person to the bet
it's as easy as buying ADEX or Monaco or from any of these
exchanges. But with the
money,
with the Ethereum automatically transfer,
that's a smart contract. Cool. Yeah. People are going to start using it for insurance. They're going to start using it with wills when they die. When I die, I want my Ethereum to go to my horse or to my friend's dog or whatever. I don't have a horse. I don't think I'd ever want a horse.
How do you know your friend is going to have a dog?
My friend has a really cute dog. His name's Chubb.
He's going to live 40 years?
I hope so. It's a beautiful, cute, very nice dog. Unlike Fonzie, I'm talking about you. You're not very nice.
He's in the other room.
I'm referencing you. I'm talking about a dog in a podcast. These people.
He doesn't give a fuck about you.
These people are like, why am I listening to this man yell at a dog?
So, okay.
Where are we?
But we're going to come back to that real quick, Joe, though, just because... So... This is what I want to find out about. So there's Monaco and Pay 10x.
10x Pay, yeah.
10x Pay.
And now, Token Card. Token Card's that's the one that you would like, Jay, because it's the horse in the back that's running, galloping, strong, it's steady.
I should get into that
TKN,
one,
if anyone's interested.
Pissing me off.
There's the abbreviations, if you want to search those on Bittrex or Poloniex. I don't know if Poloniex has all these, but 10x, or it's Pay. No, Poloniex is good. They're good other people.
No, they're not.
Dude, they're solid. These exchanges have been really solid during all this craziness. You got to show respect where it's due. So Pay, P-A-Y, is 10x Pay. Monaco is M... Oh, shit. I should know. What is it?
MCO.
MCO.
Yeah.
MCO. And Token Card is TKN.
Yeah.
So if you want to look any of those up, I would read the white papers. It's a fun activity, fun for the whole family.
Now, now on the 31st, MCO is supposed to announce their Visa card. Partnership with Visa.
And their app.
You're
going to be able to pay for products.
Right.
At places that accept Visa logos.
Right.
With your Ethereum or your Bitcoin or your Litecoin
converted
instantly at any place that accepts Visa, MasterCard.
And then
that's what they're working on.
No, sorry, I'm so tired. It's so fucking hot.
You don't need coffee or anything?
No, I don't drink coffee after the first coffee in the morning. Now Pay 10x essentially does the same thing.
10x Pay, yeah.
I keep saying it wrong.
But that's like saying, Discover Card does the same thing as Capital One.
Right. They're just competitors.
And there's room for growth. I mean, you got to read these papers. You got to do your own research. I don't want to tell people.
No. I understand that. That's not what I'm asking you. But I'm not asking you which one's better. I'm just stating the fact that there's a lot of, not unlike there would be like a Verizon versus T-Mobile or a Visa versus MasterCard. There are people on Twitter and out there that have the ones that they prefer, Monaco versus 10x Pay.
Yeah, but there's also people, I think,
and some are saying that some is like a scam, and some is saying that like the other one's not real. Yeah. And people are saying that 10x Pay debuted their app early to beat Monaco, but the app is not finished yet.
Yeah, that's possible.
I'm just saying what people are saying.
Yeah, but there's all none of this stuff is finished quite yet. You know, we're still 10 years down the line. It's like everyone's saying bubble this, bubble that. It's a bubble. Everyone's worried about a bubble, but bubbles can get really big. You know, they can get huge. They can blow up to the size of whatever.
Well, and a lot of people make a lot of fucking money in bubbles.
Yeah,
either
they can go on
things.
For years. Right. Bubbles can go on for decades, even. God knows. I mean, who are we to say? This is a new. This is like we're talking Wild West. And one of the earlier podcasts, you made a really good correlation between the time when the stock market started,
right?
Those early ages of the stock market. We looked up the date. What was that, like
18 something.
We thought
1890 something.
And so this is literally some Wild West kind of times. If you put some money in, you lose 100, you lose 200. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it bum you out. It's like this is a new market. That's a world market. You know, right. It's like a decentralized, free world market. It's nothing like this has never happened in the history of humanity. It's a bizarre thing, but no pun intended, because it's like a bazaar where people sell these weird currencies from around the world. But
so then my next thing, I brought it up earlier in the podcast, but what I noticed this week was that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, the three sort of classics, and Omise Go, which is considered like the Venmo, whereas Monaco's like a credit card. This Omise Go is like a Venmo or a PayPal where you can pay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a
peer-to-peer payments or whatever.
But yeah, you were talking about the old.
Why do we think that we saw the kind of the classic three here?
The classic. Well, a lot of things pumped last week. A lot of the classic alts pumped. We had the ones you mentioned. I think Litecoin.
Yeah, Litecoin.
Ethereum had a little
like
jump.
Almost up to 400.
Almost, but what really I jumped was Ripple. Ripple went from about, I think, 12 cents, went up to almost 30 cents, 20, 25, 26.
Right.
Maybe 27 at
why
some point.
Why is the value of Ripple so small in comparison?
It's because
what makes Litecoin $60 and Ripple 30 cents?
I think it has something to do with circulating supply and scalability. Ripple, if you look at their circulating supply, I don't know if I want to get too much into Ripple right now, but if you look at their circulating supply, I think the amount of Ripple out there is something like 38 billion.
Okay.
Somewhere around that number. I'm not sure what. And it's a proof of stake cryptocurrency, which means it's a stake in a company, similar to ant shares. Similar to Neo, So it's but with Neo you have gas which accumulates. It's kind of like proof of work and proof of stake at the same time. But yeah, so it's I don't think there's Neo mining. I should look this up. But so with Ripple you've got a centralized amount of the currency that's distributed. It's 38
I don't
million.
think there's Neo mining. I think there's gas mining.
Gas mining. That's what it is. So that's their whole thing. It's interesting. It's different. But yeah. So with the proof of stake Ripple, you have a $38 billion circulating supply. And the way you get your market capitalization is you multiply the current price of the cryptocurrency, and you multiply that by the circulating supply. And that's how you get the market capitalization. So if you get the price of Bitcoin right now, it's it's 4,000. Trying to wake you up, Jed. Let's get in here this podcast. But
you touched my foot and I freaked out.
I've got these shoes are too big for me, but
I have no shoes on, so that's the problem. And I have my shirt unbuttoned like I'm fucking Rodney Dangerfield.
And he's holding a knife, a hunting knife.
I'm holding a knife.
He's about to start picking his toenails where I go over.
It's
this
100
crypto.
fucking degrees here.
It is hot in wherever this part of town. It is really a hot.
It's
place.
Hot all over fucking.
But it's
LA.
a good when it gets too hot. You know, maybe it's time to wrap it up. But I don't think so. I think
we're not wrapping up the podcast.
It's hot. No, not at all.
What are you wrapping up? What?
I mean, just when it gets too hot, it might be a good signal to be like when we're sweating.
Oh
we take our shirts off,
we got another 20 minutes here.
Yeah, let's do it. It's just
okay.
Great.
Where were you at?
Market capitalizations. Yeah, so all the old alts pumped basically.
Right.
Monero pumped. It was went from 50 to 150, 125. It jumped It jumped one morning.
I'm too new to even know what
Monero
is.
It's interesting. It's basically like a Bitcoin cryptocurrency. And you're able to send money completely anonymously.
Okay.
So when you send a Bitcoin, there's an address.
Right.
You're sending it to it. Copies all of that information as a transaction onto the ledger, a public ledger. Everyone to read it. What Monero does is it it sends the transaction from a strange address, encrypted address, to an encrypted location, and there's lots of levels of encryption where
different encrypted computers.
It's near impossible to trace where the transaction originated or where it's going. So that's what people...
ISIS money.
Who knows? I think
North
actually...
Korea.
I forget what ISIS was using. But it wasn't... I read an article about it recently, and it was not Monero, and it was not Bitcoin. It was like Putin Classic or one of those weird ones. Something like that. And they when they find that, they shut that coin down. So just do your research. You can figure out if one of these...
How ironic would it be if ISIS was funded entirely by Putin Classic?
Oh, my God. Or Trump coin or Hillary or whatever, all these weird political... Bernie coin or Sanders token or whatever they have.
Bernie coin is free to everyone.
Oh, good. Free for everyone. It's a free for all. But yeah, the old alts pump. The credit cards are really interesting. It's the future.
The credit cards are interesting to me. One thing I saw that was a funny kind of meme about the credit card was like some guy goes to fucking Starbucks and buys like a cup of coffee with Monaco. Yeah. And then like goes home and then like checks the fucking market and realizes that he just spent $80,000 on a cup of coffee and hangs himself.
Drinks the coffee and hangs himself. Yeah, that's really good. I love the memes. The memes are really funny.
Well, that's what's fun about all this shit is just how fucking ridiculous it can all get.
It's a good way to spread the message.
It's a good way to like fucking kind of not take it all so seriously.
Yeah.
In a way of like keeping yourself from freaking out if your wallet value is piss poor as mine is currently.
It's a time. It could be patient. You know, I was listening to this one guy talk about Bitcoin, and his thing was boredom is your worst enemy. Boredom you'll lose all your money if you get bored. If something goes down,
you go chasing the fucking dragon or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be patient.
Not unlike the zombie dragon from Game of Thrones this week.
I don't watch that show.
Yeah, you don't watch Game of Thrones?
I watched Twin Peaks. If you want to talk about David Lynch's opus,
it's over.
A magnum opus. It's incredible. But
Mr. Holland.
Well, we got 2 more episodes of Twin Peaks.
Game of Thrones was the finale this week.
Yeah, I saw AT&T was sponsoring some sort of finale. AT&T on Twitter, they had something about which Game of Thrones character wants better cell reception over the wall, or it was some sort of Game of Thrones Twitter ad.
I went on an audition for an AT&T commercial this week, and I got put on a veil, but I didn't get the commercial, so I wonder if it had to do with that same thing.
It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I kind of have a wild... we both have sort of a wildling vibe going right now after you saw the eclipse in Idaho, and now you came back like looking like fucking
I saw second-rate
Logan.
I saw a wild buffalo. I saw some elk. I was taking a trip down the... I shouldn't be talking about how amazing this place was, but... It was nice.
Yeah.
Wherever I was. It was in America. America's a beautiful place. It was somewhere.
Dude, Montana. I mean, I have a lot of family
Montana,
I have a lot of
family
in.
Are beautiful.
I have family in Eastern Washington and then a lot of family in Montana. And I'd tell you what, driving across Montana is like one of my favorite things to do in this country.
You see bald eagles. You see what do you see?
Incredible.
It's beautiful. It's serene. It's peaceful.
It's amazing. It's just like you realize like how fucking ridiculous the rest of the fucking Earth is, like the rest of like where we live is, and just like how you realize like it's like seeing back in time like how fucking shit was supposed to be, you know, like,
for so long
we weren't supposed to.
It was like that for longer than it's been like this now, you know. It's been for tens of thousands of years
until fucking Christopher Columbus ruined everything for everyone.
Everyone ruined everything. You can't pin it on just old Christopher Columbo.
Because I think Christopher Columbus Day is coming up, so that's what I was thinking about.
Well, it wasn't easy what he did. You know, people want to hate on him, but he's a sailor. He was an adventurer.
Oh my God, Strider! Just every time.
People, it was the Wild West back then.
Every time I see you liking one of Donald Trump's tweets, I'm just so confused.
Let's not talk about it. I could talk about it up where I was, up where I was. You could talk about that kind of thing. Out here, they'll label you as a Nazi or I shouldn't even say that word. They'll label you as
really on thin ice. Let's go back to.
But it's like these labels. People need to relax. You know, we're in America.
Then you go to Idaho, where all the neo-Nazis live.
There's no such thing as any of that. It's all don't believe and talk to your neighbors. Talk to people. There's no such thing as these crazy hordes of Nazis. Whatever they're saying, it's insane. It's insane.
Oh my God, it's
labeling people based on who they voted for. The tweets they like
such
on Twitter.
Polarizing viewpoint here on the cryptocurrency podcast.
Gotta speak my mind. It's freedom of speech. It's one of the last few freedoms.
Well, as long as you,
I like the free market. I like the free speech. I know
you're the libertarian.
Yeah, an independent libertarian.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Let's not get too political.
Let's not get too political.
I don't care. But what I was going to ask you, though.
Yes, where are we going?
Another thing I wanted to ask you about the skyrocketing price of these classics. Do you think this has to do with the SegWit that happened this last week as well with Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think there was a full upgrade.
Can you explain to us what the SegWit was or what it is?
The segregated witness platform protocol it's a processing operating system to process Bitcoin payments, Litecoin transactions. It's advanced or more advanced than it has been. It's lightning fast. You could process giant sums of money. And it's the one that everyone voted for, all the miners, and Litecoin and Bitcoin are using it now, and everything's running smoothly. There was a lot of fear before August 1st with the whole SegWit transition, and now everything's fully functional, and it's moving big. Everything's bigger and better than ever. It's really amazing.
Yeah, and it's interesting. And do we think that at any time here soon that Bitcoin, it's funny because last week we kind of determined that Bitcoin Cash was basically worth about 1/10 of Bitcoin. It ended up going up to being worth about 1/4 of Bitcoin.
It jumped up there.
And now it's way back down, and there's a lot of Strider's taking off his shirt. This is going to be two shirtless guys doing a cryptocurrency podcast.
Good thing it's not a video, or maybe, I don't know.
It will be someday if we can get enough money to buy cameras. But
let's bring up later because there's a new cryptocurrency YouTube program.
Okay, I'm going to get your news here in a minute, but I'm just interviewing you at the moment. He's like weirdly flexing.
I'm not. I'm just sitting here. It's hot. It's a hot one today.
It's hot.
It's humid. It's
if it wasn't so hot, I'd tell you to put your shirt back on.
Yeah.
So it's almost to the point now where someone like Charlie Lee has been tweeting out that the people that are mining Bitcoin Cash, it's actually they're losing money mining it. It's gotten to that point because of the number of blocks that they're incurring.
I don't know enough about Bitcoin Cash, to be honest. I mean, I know about the fork, and I know that people that had Bitcoin on Poloniex, or I guess Coinbase, they were credited with this new fork of Bitcoin, similar to Ethereum or Ethereum Classic, which people got their free money of Bitcoin Cash and they sold it or held on to it, and it's kind of just a fluctuating new sort of, what's the word? I don't want to say. What are those like fake Gucci bag kind of things? What's the word I'm looking for?
Oh, like a knockoff?
Yeah, like a
counterfeit.
Counterfeit, there we go. It's some sort of like, people want to say it's like a counterfeit version of Bitcoin. Maybe not counterfeit, just like a knockoff version. Yeah. You go downtown and you find your girlfriend.
Well, it's not counterfeiting in the same way that like counterfeiting cash would be, where you would be like basically making the same thing and fooling people into thinking that you're not fooling someone into thinking they're getting Bitcoin. It's just another version of it.
That uses the same blockchain ledger transaction protocol as Bitcoin. I think the ultimate difference was that, I wrote it down somewhere, some people wanted the SegWit thing. It has to do with the whole SegWit merger thing. Some people wanted a quick, scalable, quick, large transaction Bitcoin, Litecoin processing network. And some people wanted that, but they just wanted more time, quote unquote. They wanted to get there in a different way, and they had the vote, and there was the fork to Bitcoin Cash, and people are buying and trading. It's still kind of uncertain, in my opinion, but if you have some, the choice is yours. It's like free money. You can do whatever you want with it.
I feel like, my prediction on it is just that it's just gonna slowly go down and down and down in value, but the thing is that if you were holding your Bitcoin on an exchange that was awarding you with Bitcoin Cash, and you got it in the first couple days, and
Poloniex,
or Bittrex,
yeah,
and you sold it when it was at like $1,500 or $1,300 or whatever, you'd made a good profit if you had enough of it, and
especially
if you just got out, then
especially because Bitcoin's gone up since then. I think when that was happening, Bitcoin was under 4,000.
Yeah.
So if you sold your Bitcoin Cash for 800 or 1,200 or whatever, you're making Bitcoin at low Bitcoin prices.
Right.
And now it's around 45, 50, 46, 47. You're making money.
Fuck ton of money.
And that's what we're looking at that now. Maybe you and I didn't do that, but we can look back and see people that would have done that. Maybe in the future there'll be another situation. There definitely will be many situations like the Bitcoin Cash fork or like these neo coins, neo cryptocurrencies and Monaco and Omise Go. There's many of these in the potential. There's lots of potential in this market. It's a very innovative tech-based world free market. It's unlike anything. It's like the stock market in the early days times 1,000. It's really, it's a world. You want the world coming together and celebrating our, humanity on the globe. Mm-hmm. You look at trade, you look at commerce, you look at technology, advancement. There's all these. We could talk about some cryptocurrencies.
Well, that's all I got. So I leave the floor to you here to update us on your latest findings. I'm sort of. I feel like I'm sort of the guide here, steering the ship, and since you're over here ranting,
wild card saying, "Oh, there's gold over there. There's land over there. Where are we going?" Yeah,
I'm like Ted Kaczynski's brother.
Oh my gosh, it's the beard. You're calling me Ted Kaczynski now? Come on, these people don't need this imagery.
Randy Weaver, Ted Kaczynski,
Shill Silverstein on Twitter,
at Real Crypto Tales.
But yeah, stay vigilant when you're trading. Have patience. Read these white papers. Treat it like a hobby. Don't quit your job. Keep your job. Use this as a hobby. Look into these cryptocurrencies. Here's some that I think could go up potentially in the next couple of months. By maybe put $100 if you have extra. $50 if you have a little bit extra. I think NEM, the New Economy Movement, it's really big in Japan.
Is that NEM?
XEM,
I believe.
XEM. Yeah, BAT, Basic Attention Token. It's a advertising platform
for autistic kids.
No, it's an advertising platform for internet browsers.
Okay.
So instead of Google making money selling your information, where you click, what you go to, what kind of sites you look at, the ads you view, you kind of make money based on telling advertisers where you're going, what you're doing.
You're selling your information versus someone else selling your information.
Basically,
tell your own story. That's what I always say. Don't let someone else tell it.
There's another cryptocurrency called BitShares. It's kind of interesting. It's a Chinese-based cryptocurrency. It's pretty cheap right now, around 20 cents, 15 cents. I think it could go well past 40 cents in the near future. It's interesting in that it's a cryptocurrency that's based in a wallet kind of platform. There's an exchange. If you download a BitShares wallet, you can use your wallet as a currency exchange using BitShares.
Right.
So instead of as wallets are now, like your Neo wallet or your Bitcoin or Litecoin wallet, if you want to make money with that or trade it for something else, you have to take it to Coinbase. You have to take it to Poloniex or Bittrex.
There's fees involved with that.
There's very few fees with if you use BitShares currency,
right?
Because they want to promote their own currency. Syscoin, SYS coin, is the systems management coin. You could look into that. Zcoin, very interesting. It's $11 right now. It was $5 a couple of days ago. I'm seeing projections of $20-$25 for that coin eventually. So it might seem like a lot now, which happened to me with Monaco. If you're looking at a coin and it's $3, it's $4, and you want it at $3 and then it jumps to $7. And you kind of give up on that coin because you really wanted it at 3, and you could have bought it at 4, and you could have bought it at 5, and now it's at 7, and you kind of just don't even want to look at it. You take it off your watch list, and just if the technology is there, just put a little bit in there so you're not just.
I'm not bummed at Monaco where I got it at. I'm because tomorrow is their announcement, so I'm wondering if we're going to see a spike tonight or if that's over.
What happened with the Neo announcement? The AntShares announcement. Did you remember that back in the day? I think
when it went to like 11 or something. Or
I think it went to 15. There was the announcement. It jumped up to 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And then it leveled out for a while.
What I'm saying is that Monaco leveled already.
Or there could be a spike for the announcement, maybe. Or who knows? This is a whole new marketplace. It could
I'm
grow.
If we're going to see a spike over tonight.
If it depends on the conference. It always depends on the conference. I mean, they say buy the news, sell the conference.
No, buy the rumor, sell the news.
Buy the rumor, sell the news. There you go. Thank you, Jed. So I don't know if that applies all the time.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah, I know. The student has
Bitcoin
surpassed
from my
master.
wallet.
No, we're all students in this. I don't know any more than
No. Sure, whatever.
it's a fun little hobby.
Well, those are some good
nice
recommendations. I appreciate you taking the time to kind of research some of those, and I'm going to look into them myself. Do you have any specific news that you wanted to bring up, or is it more that's your picks for the week? Because I like having the picks for the week too, because it reminds me of Broncos versus 49ers.
Yeah,
is my lock of the week.
We'll talk about them next week. We'll see. I'll bring up all those coins and see what they've done. There's one more. It's an ICO kind of thing I wanted to mention. It's called BitCash. Mm-hmm. It hasn't started yet. It's going to be I think I don't know if it's Ethereum or Neo based, but it's a cryptocurrency that funds a YouTube style. I think I brought it up earlier in the podcast, but it's gonna be a YouTube competitor. It's called BitCash, BITCACHE, and they're just gonna start their ICO, which means
cash is in
your internet browser cache. Yeah, well, that's free on your computer. It's whatever your hitter's history. The history of,
and you have it.
The storage.
All your porn is cached.
The rumor is that Kim.com.
I love Kim.com.
He's
Mega
interesting.
Upload.
He's Mega Upload.
He's
trying to get. He's effectively getting back into the world of.
I did not download
video
thousands
streaming.
of albums via Mega Upload at work.
When
I had an office job.
It was great, and it would be nice if we had a Mega Upload system where instead of taking money, for the consumer, not for the artist. But what he is proposing now is an updated version with the encrypted blockchain ledger of that, where if you're listening to an album, there'll be a way for you to pay that artist directly using the blockchain. If you're an artist, we can post Jed's what's your band called? It's amazing. The Zigzags. They have this really cool shirt. It's got a zombie with nunchucks. You guys should check out Randy Says on Twitter and buy this shirt. It's awesome.
I've sold 5 of them since we've been doing the podcast.
We could put the Zigzags on this BitCash kind of system and the podcast, and people will say, I would love to do that personally. Not for us, but if I was listening to a podcast and there was a donate, and I knew for 100% certainty that money would go to that artist or that philosopher or that whoever, Bitcoin podcast, whoever I'm listening to, if I knew that money went to the artist directly, I would be donating left and right.
Well, I think Patreon is like that,
Patreon, but I think it's better to not have an oversight committee. I think it's better
to have a
completely decentralized.
I think that's what we're gonna do, and we looked at. I don't know how the fuck to track numbers, but the fucking thing said that we had a zillion more listens this week than we did the week before.
Well, it's hears. I think they're calling them hears now.
Well, whatever, downloads or whatever.
We got downloads.
But, we need to set up a thing where people can actually send us Bitcoin to keep this shit going.
So, we also, you know what, we could talk about this. What I want to do, it's kind of interesting. We could tweet at us if anyone wants to participate in this or think it's a good idea, but have sort of a donation style wallet where people can donate their Neo or their Ethereum or whatever they have extra that they just want to say what the heck, and we'll have a vote poll on Twitter of 6 or 7 different coins, and then we'll take all of the money that we made on the donation wallet, put it in that coin, and wait a month.
That'd be great.
And then we'll sell the profits exponentially to have some Twitter contests, retweet this or post something about our podcast on Twitter, and you'll enter into this contest, and then we'll send people whatever the profits are of the contest. It'll be a fun little
It'd be awesome
mini decentralized lottery, and
I love that.
We'll talk more about that. Tweet at us if you want to take part.
Figure it out, figure out how to do that. It'd be great.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay, cool. Well, it's fucking hot enough.
It's warm. It's
been in this fucking Bikram-esque.
It's musky. It's a bit
podcast.
Bitcoin musky.
Do we have it's like a hot yoga class, but it's like a hot podcast.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why you were talking so
all
fast.
Water.
You drank all my water and you talked super fast, and I just wonder if maybe the heat has crazy from the heat, a la David Lee Roth, or it's just loosened up your brain.
It's all this Bitcoin crypto going up. It's fun. It's a fun wild west kind of world. It's energizing. I like it. High energy.
All right. Well, I'm gonna get this fucking podcast mixed and disseminated to the masses.
Disseminate that.
We're gonna disseminate the fuck out of this thing, and then we'll see you guys next week.
All right.
See you, Thanks, buddy.